"This is an outrage," boomed Mogadon. "That book is Meathead property. I demand its instant return, or I shall declare war on the spot." "Ah, put a sock in it, Mogadon," said Stoic. "With wimpy librarians like yours, what can you expect?" The hairy, scaly librarian blushed a delicate pink and shook in his size 18 shoes. "Bagabum, hand me the book from the fireplace," yelled Stoic. Bagabum stretched out one of his great octopus arms and picked the book off the shelf. He lobbed it across the heads of the crowd, and Stoic caught it, to much cheering. Morale was high. Stoic bowed to the hordes and handed the book to Gobber. "Gobber, Gobber, Gobber," yelled the crowd. It was Gobber's moment of triumph. A crisis demands a hero, and he knew he was the man for the job. His chest swelled with self-importance. "Oh, it's nothing, really," he bellowed modestly. "A bit of basic burglary, you know. Keep me in practice." "Shh!" hissed the crowd like sea snakes as Gobber cleared his throat. "How to train your dragon," announced Gobber solemnly. He paused. "Yell at it." There was another pause. "And?" said Stoic. "Yell at it and?" "That's it," said Gobber. "Yell at it." "There's nothing in here about a sea dragoness, Gigantix, Maximus in particular?" asked Stoic. Gobber looked through the book again. "Not as such," said Gobber. "Just a bit about yelling at it, really." Said Stoic. "It's brief, isn't it? I've never noticed before, but it is brief. Brief, but to the point," he added hastily. "Like us Vikings. Thank Thor for our experts. Now," said Stoic in his most chief-like manner, "since it is such a large dragon—" "Vast," interrupted old Wrinkly happily. "Gigantic. Stupendously enormous. 5 times as big as the big blue whale." "Yes, thank you, old Wrinkly," said Stoic. "Since it is indeed on the large side, we're going to need a rather large yell. I want everybody on the cliff tops yelling at the same time." "What shall we yell?" asked Bagabum. "Something brief and to the point." "Go away," said Stoic. The tribes of Meathead and Hooligan gathered at the top of the cliffs of Long Beach and looked down at the impossibly vast serpent stretched out on the sand, smacking its lips as it devoured the last morsels of its late unfortunate companion. It was so big that it seemed unlikely that it could be alive until you saw it move like an earthquake or a trick of the eyes. There are times when size really is important, thought Hiccup to himself, and this is one of them. Dragons are vain, cruel, and amoral creatures, as I've said, and this is all very well when they are a lot smaller than you are. But when a dragon's bad nature is multiplied into something the size of a hillside, how do you deal with it? Gobber the Belch stepped forward to lead the yelling as the most respected yeller among them all. His chest swelled with pride. 1, 2, 3! 400 Viking voices screamed as one, "Go away!" and added for good measure the Viking war cry. The Viking war cry was designed to chill the blood of Viking enemies at the commencement of battle. It is a horrifying, electrifying shriek that begins by mimicking the furious yell of a swooping predator, which then turns into the victim's scream of pure terror and ends with a horribly realistic imitation of death gurgles as it chokes on its own blood. It is a scary noise at the best of times, but shout all together by 400 barbarians at 8 o'clock in the morning is enough to make the mighty Thor himself drop his hammer and cry like a little baby. There was an impressive silence. The mighty dragon then turned his mighty head in their direction. There were 400 gasps as a pair of evil yellow eyes, as big as 6 tall men, narrowed down to slits. The dragon opened its mouth and let out a sound so loud and so terrifying that 4 or 5 passing seagulls dropped down dead with fear on the spot. It was a noise that made the Viking war cry seem like a faint cry of a newborn baby in comparison. It was a terrible, alien, otherworldly noise that promised death and no mercy and everything awful. There was another impressive silence. With one delicate movement of his talon, the dragon ripped through Gobber's tunic and trousers from head to toe as if he were peeling fruit. Gobber gave a most unheroic shriek of outraged modesty. The dragon placed the same talon upright in front of Gobber the Belch and flicked him like a spitball. Way, way, away over the Viking's head and over the wall fortifications of the village. The dragon put his vast, cracked old paw to his reptilian lips and blew the Vikings a kiss. The kiss streaked through the sky and scored a direct hit on both Stoic and Mogadon ships, which had survived the storm and were rocking in the safety of Hooligan Harbour. All 50 of them burst simultaneously into flames. The Vikings ran away from the cliff as fast as their 800 legs could carry them. Gobber the Belch had the luck to land on the roof of his own house. The deep layers of soggy grass broke his fall as he went through them and ended up sitting stark naked in his own chair in front of the fire, dazed but unharmed. "Okay then," said Stoic to 400 Vikings suddenly looking scared but wildly overexcited. "So the yelling doesn't work." They had reassembled in the centre of the village. "And as our fleet is out of action, we have no means of escape from the island," Stoic continued. "What we need now," he said, trying to sound as if he was on top of the situation, "is for somebody to go and ask the monster whether he comes in peace or in war." "I shall go, volunteered Gobber, who rejoined them at that moment, still determined to be the hero of the hour. He was trying to sound noble and dignified, but it is very difficult to be truly dignified with grass in your hair, wearing your cousin Agatha's dress, which was the only thing Gobber could find to wear in the house. "Do you speak Dragonese, Gobber?" asked Stoic in surprise. "Well, no," Gobber admitted. "Nobody here speaks Dragonese. It's forbidden by order of Stoic the Vast. Oh, hear his name and terrible. Dragons are inferior creatures who we yell at. Dragons might get above themselves if we talk to them. Dragons are tricksters and must be kept in their place." "Hiccup can speak to dragons," said Fishleg very quietly from the middle of the crowd. "Shh!" Fishlegs whispered Hiccup, desperately digging his friend in the ribs. "Well, you can," Fishlegs said stoutly. "Don't you see? This is your chance to be a hero, and we're all going to die anyway, so you might as well take it." "Hiccup can speak dragons. Hiccup can speak to dragons," shouted Fishlegs, very excited. Third time. "Hiccup can speak to dragons," shouted Fishlegs, very loudly indeed. "Hiccup?" said Gobber the Belch. "Hiccup?" said Stoic the Vast. "Yes, Hiccup," said old Wrinkly. "Small boy, red hair, freckles. You were going to put him into exile this morning." Old Wrinkly looked stern. "In order that the blood of the tribe should not be weakened. Remember your son, Hiccup?" "I know who Hiccup is, thank you, old Wrinkly," said Stoic the Vast uncomfortably. "Does anyone know where he is? Hiccup, come forward." "It looks like you could come in useful after all," old Wrinkly murmured to himself. "Here he is," yelled Fishlegs, patting Hiccup on the back. Hiccup started to wriggle through the crowd until somebody noticed him and dragged him up, and he was passed over everybody's heads and put down in front of Stoic. "Hiccup," said Stoic, "is it true that you can talk to dragons?" Hiccup nodded. Stoic gave an awkward cough. "This is an embarrassing situation. I know that we are about to banish you from the tribe. However, if you do what I ask, I am sure I speak for everybody when I say that you can consider yourself unbanished. We stand in awful peril, and nobody else in this room can speak Dragonese. Will you go to this monster and ask him whether he comes in peace or in war?" Hiccup said nothing. Stoic coughed again. "You can talk to me," said Stoic. "I've unbanished you." "So the exile is off then, is it, Father?" asked Hiccup. "If I go and kill myself talking to this beast from hell, I will be considered heroic enough to join the tribe of hooligans?" Stoic looked more embarrassed than ever. "Absolutely," he said. "Okay then," said Hiccup. "I'll do it."